one of the things that we share about at retreats is about natural family planning. And of course, you talk about like the statistics of couples who practice that and how much more successful marriages are when you do. But really, when it comes down to it, is like that sacrificial, again, going back to the vulnerability and the sacrificial giving of oneself, and that when you are practicing, when you're in marriage, and that, and couples think, well, then that means that intimacy is a free for all, and we can be intimate anytime. But when you practice natural family planning in whatever form, I know there's all kinds of different ways. I'm not up to date on all of that anymore, but the idea being that there's a time, when you cannot be intimate in that way, then there's a sacrifice there that helps you to grow as a couple, because it helps you to practice how to think of the other, how to put away your own desires, how to say, this is something that my flesh is wanting, and I'm going, and we're not going to, because this isn't the right time to have a child, or maybe, however you're choosing to do natural family planning. But it always comes down to the same thing. It's that the willingness to be completely vulnerable and give of yourself, and that selfish, or that versus that selfishness of like, well, how is that going to inconvenience me? And so when we talk to couples about that, like, it feels like an inconvenience. It feels like, oh, well, then we're going to have to abstain for how much of the month? But really, you learn how to like be with each other in ways that you maybe wouldn't otherwise. You learn how to like hear each other out, to talk through things that maybe would be more difficult. And that translates into other parts of your marriage as well. When you learn to be really intimate with each other in not a physical way, then it's going to be easier to have the difficult conversations about other things, about career, about money, about child rearing, about all those other things.